in either stance, that's a real problem for Canelo because he will just be switching, and you don't know where the shots are coming from, and it's so easy for him to do so. And I think the thing that really made me appreciate him is there's many times where I've seen people try and trade with him and slug it out and...
I don't know if it's reachable for him. If anybody can do it, it's him, and I'm contradicting myself. I just don't see it happening, you know? Could it happen? Yeah, it's boxing.
Terence Crawford is reportedly training alongside Gennady Golovkin in preparation for his clash with Canelo Alvarez, a development that has stirred major buzz in the boxing world. The two are said to be working closely to refine Crawford's power, timing, and overall ring IQ. With Golovkin's veteran insight guiding him, Crawford could gain an extra edge as he readies himself for one of the most challenging fights of his career. When analysts break down Crawford, they don't see just another top fighter, they see a rare talent. He blends speed, precision timing, and a remarkable ability to read opponents in real time. His seamless stance switches and mid-fight adjustments are tools mastered by only a select few in the sport. Many describe his boxing IQ as near genius, given how methodically he dismantles rivals with accuracy and control. For observers, Crawford isn't simply great, he's extraordinary, a fighter who commands the ring with equal parts intelligence and strategy. If there's anyone who can pull this off, it's Terence "Bud" Crawford. This is a man who literally survived being shot in the head. He's built different. He's not just a fighter, he's a wizard in the ring. His boxing IQ is off the charts, one of the highest I've ever seen, and he can truly do it all. With over 40 fights under his belt, I can't remember a single moment where he's looked rattled, worried, or out of his element, even with world-class killers trying to take his head off. Crawford fights with the same fluid brilliance as a rapper freestyling, making it up as he goes, yet still delivering something that sounds perfect every time. That's how natural he is. No one else in the sport switches stances the way he does. He looks equally dangerous from both sides, and that constant shifting is a nightmare for opponents like Canelo, who won't know where the punches are coming from. What makes him even scarier is how he handles exchanges in the pocket. Most fighters, when they trade, both take damage. Crawford, he somehow manages to land clean while slipping what's coming back, like he's operating inside the Matrix. And he's done this not against average names, but against the very best across 4 weight divisions. Each time he's moved up, he's made it look effortless. Just look at the Errol Spence fight. That was billed as a 50-50th showdown, with plenty of people predicting Crawford's downfall. Instead, under all that pressure, he turned in one of the most dominant performances of his career.
But if there is anyone who can do it, it's Terence "Bud" Crawford, a man who survived getting shot in the head, for God's sakes. Like, he is not normal. He is a wizard of boxing. He's got genius IQ, one of the smartest boxers I've ever seen, and he can do it all. He's had over 40 fights. I can't ever remember seeing him, like, shook or worried. I mean, this is, trained killers trying to take his head off, and he never looks out of pocket. He is like a rapper who just turns up and figures out his lines on the fly and still makes it sound like the best song you've ever heard. Like, that's how amazing he is. Like, I've never seen anyone who can fight out both stances the way Crawford can. I mean, he looks so natural in either stance. That's a real problem for Canelo because he will just be switching, and you don't know where the shots are coming from, and it's so easy for him to do so. And I think the thing that really made me appreciate him is there's many times where I've seen people try and trade with him and slug it out, and when they stand in the pocket and they just go for it. And even in those situations where usually both of you are getting hit, he still manages to hit and not get hit. It's like he's in the Matrix. And this isn't against average fighters, this is against the best in the world at 4 different weight classes, and he's made it look easy pretty much every time he's moved up. I think in the Errol Spence fight, that was a fight that was supposed to be 50-50, the pressure was on, a lot of people thought he was going to lose that fight. He made that look like a boxing lesson, and the reason is when Errol Spence would throw a punch and not get out of the pocket quick enough, he would make them pay every single time. And if people are worried about Canelo's feet being slow, if there's anyone who can punish that, it's Terence "Bud" Crawford. In terms of weaknesses, these guys, they don't really have weaknesses. They've just got things that they maybe not as amazing at. That's the level we're talking here. Canelo has been accused of being a bit of a slow starter, and that could be a problem in this fight.
When new training photos of Terence Crawford's physique hit the internet, they immediately sparked both curiosity and skepticism. The images showed Crawford in peak condition, his frame looking sharper and more muscular than ever. But the question that quickly followed was whether the pictures were genuine or digitally enhanced. Some fans speculated the shots might have been exaggerated as a psychological tactic to intimidate Canelo Alvarez before their showdown. Showbiz noted that while Crawford has always been known for his discipline in the gym, such dramatic physical changes naturally fueled debate. The reaction underscores just how closely every detail is scrutinized when it comes to a super fight of this magnitude.
I would like to see Bud pull it off. The thing about it is, I think the only disadvantage Bud really has is the weight. I think he has all the skills and attributes that are required to beat a guy like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo's kind of flat-footed. You've seen the fights with Bivol and Laura and even School, who didn't do much, but you see that movement irritates Canelo. You know what I'm saying? When dudes that know how to control the range and stuff like that, he didn't look like the world beater. You know what I mean? The motherfuckers that sat in front of him, them dudes that sat in front of him, we see what he did with him. You know what I mean? But guys like Bivol, who was bigger, but he bouncing in and out. Laura, motherfucking landing counter lefts, and he's circling out, and that shit was fucking with Canelo. Floyd, you know, it probably killed Canelo that Floyd was always only an inch away. Yep. Just a little step back, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, God damn, I feel like I missed by a mile.
That's crazy because he didn't use no movement.
Right.
He stood in the pocket on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Triple G was. You said G? Triple G?
No. I said Floyd didn't use no movement.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. He was always where he needed to be in the ring. He was always where he needed to be in the ring. I'm in there to land, then I'm just right here. In there to land, but now I'm right here. It was a bad motherfucker, Joe. Like that's what we never gotta understand. Floyd was a bad motherfucker. But the movement, having good feet under you, helps against Canelo.
Adam Smith broke down why he gives the edge to Terence Crawford over Canelo Alvarez, zeroing in on timing as the decisive factor. In Smith's view, boxing is not just about skill but about facing opponents at the right, or wrong, moment in their careers. He noted that Canelo has already been through years of grueling battles with elite competition, a run that has inevitably worn on his body. While still highly skilled, Smith argued that Canelo's speed, explosiveness, and sharpness are not quite what they once were. Crawford, meanwhile, appears to be entering the true peak of his career. He's undefeated, carries momentum, and shows no signs of decline. More importantly, he remains hungry, motivated, and eager to prove himself against the sport's biggest names. Smith suggested this combination of form and ambition gives Crawford the upper hand. In his eyes, the timing of this matchup simply doesn't favor Canelo. Crawford is catching the Mexican superstar at a moment when his edge has dulled slightly, making it the perfect opportunity to cement his own greatness.
Shredded wheat and amazing is this photo photoshopped, because this photo that Ilia Tapora posted of Terence Bud Crawford is the latest photo we've seen, and he looks just less impressive in this photo. Well, the question is really, when were the photos taken? All right, so when you look at this photo and you look at this photo and look at this video of Terence Crawford with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh as Terence Crawford is working out, supposedly just yesterday, right? Which one is Terence Crawford's latest appearance? Because even though this is the latest photo you've seen, doesn't mean this is when the photo was taken. The only reason why people are confused is because this latest photo seems to have been taken in Vegas. And we're approaching fight week and Terence Crawford is already in Vegas. Hence the video with him with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh in Vegas. Now, let me explain all of this. Well, first you gotta look at the hairstyles, right? Terence Crawford in this photo from Ilia Tapora, his hairstyle is totally different than this hairstyle here with Terence Crawford shredded wheat. It is also different than his hairstyle that he has here in the gym with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. You can tell because you can tell how the hair braid, like how it's parted in this photo, and in this photo, they're more parted down the middle, where this video, it's slanted. It's in like a diagonal slant, which I'm thinking is his latest.
On Talk Sport Boxing, the debate over Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford grew heated. Some commentators went as far as to suggest that if Crawford were to lose decisively to Canelo, it could mark the end of his appearances at the sport's highest level. The panel split sharply. One side argued that Canelo's size, power, and relentless pressure would be too much for Crawford to handle, while the other insisted that Crawford's technical mastery and boxing IQ could expose Canelo's flaws. The discussion mirrored the wider divide among fans and analysts, but what stood out most was the dramatic claim that a crushing loss might close the door on Crawford's run in marquee fights. It underscored just how high the stakes truly are for this showdown.
To be in Vegas to see, I think Terence Crawford beats Canelo, and I think that it's going to be his coming out party. I'd love to be there, and Canelo, of course, an all-time great. Yeah, but listen, I love Ireland, and I'm pleased to be in Belfast with the zone for Crawford and Golovkin. There's something about an all-Irish fight which is fantastic, and it was great and controversial first time around. It's even bigger now, so yeah, let's jet over there and get on with it.
Just a quick one on Canelo Crawford. I heard you pick Crawford. You just said it there. How much of that is down to timing, and how much of that is down to styles?
A bit of both. I think Canelo is approaching 70 fights. He's been beaten before. Crawford remains undefeated. I think that the jump up is big, but I think he's got the speed, the IQ, the experience, the know-how to be able to handle it. If he's switched on for every minute of every round, I think he wins, and I think he announces himself to the world on Netflix, and I think he deserves it. I think Terence Crawford's only been really known to the trade fans. Canelo, obviously, a bigger name, bigger star, and look, I fancy Crawford in this fight. Look, nothing against Canelo. Maybe it's a little bit of time in the skull fight. I don't know, but there's plenty that fancy Canelo. Be too big, too strong, too good. It's Crawford for me.
Favourite going into this one because he's the super middleweight world champion. Bud Crawford jumping up two weight divisions, and he's jumped up a weight division before that as well, beating Errol Spence. You just look at it and go, it's a massive ask here for Terence Crawford. But something inside me tells me he wins, and we'll get into that later on.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but in the meantime, Canelo, as ever, has left no stone unturned. He's been training at altitude in Sierra Nevada, looking to get the maximum body stamina and preparation advantage. It's something that he's used to. And, of course, he's going to effectively be the home fighter because Tex-Mexers will be up in their numbers from Texas. Also, Hispanic fans from all around the United States. The fight is being made on Mexican Independence Day. I don't think you have to be a great crystal ball gazer to know where the bulk of the crowd is going to be rooting when they step out inside those ropes and their names are bellowed out by the ringside announcer afterwards.
Listen, even though the fight happens in America and Terence Crawford is American, it is going to be so pro-Mexican there, because Canelo is accepted. He's like an adopted son there, and Mexican Independence Day, all of that goes so much in favour of Canelo Alvarez. You go, actually, the guy that's a four-division world champion and a superstar of the sport and American will start probably the fan favourite will definitely be Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, definitely. And he's been training with somebody, sparring with a man who he thinks replicates Crawford's style in sparring many rounds against Jaron